Welcome, welcome, welcome to your final bootcamp session. You've all made it. Thank you for being here. This week, we're going to talk about the remaining problems. So, we've talked a lot about going over how to come up with ideas, how to structure your videos, how to figure out which platform to post on. We've answered a lot of like the initial questions. This week, we're going to be talking a lot about consistency, how to kind of plan your content and set up a schedule that's going to work with you and actually help you stay consistent long term. And we're going to talk a little bit about learning from your analytics so that when you sit there and go, whoa, okay, that video did really well. Why was that? What should I be paying attention to? And how can I replicate it and do it again? So, to recap from last week, because again, I feel like a year is in between every single week, just we're all so busy. But last week we talked a lot about how social media is about building connections, not just posting or shouting into a void, right? So, we talked all about the importance of engagement and how even if you're not posting, going and leaving comments, responding to people's stories, responding to other people's content can be what helps keep you visible and relevant to your network and to that sphere. So if anyone did the homework, if you did the 10-10-10 rule, if you spent 10 minutes leaving 10 comments and 10 messages, put a thumbs up or let me know in the chat. I really, really want to know who did it, if you saw any results, if you got any responses, how it made you feel. I think it's not always like an instant, oh, I got 2 leads from this. But what I hear a lot of people saying is, oh, that wasn't that hard. Oh, it was kind of fun. Oh, someone did respond to me. Oh, it was fun to just hype somebody else up and just not have to worry about posting myself. Like those are all really good takeaways. So if you haven't done the 10-10-10 rule, go try it because it's just a good feel good. Mark, you did it a little not as consistent as you would have liked. That's okay. Hopefully you had good results, but the more you do it, the better. And so what I would do is like if you set a little reminder on your calendar every day, either first 10 minutes of your day, during your lunch break, whatever it is, I would just set that little 10-minute reminder and you can use it as even like in between meetings when you're like, okay, I need to walk away from my desk for a second, do your 10-10-10 engagement. Yeah, Edwin, finished is always better than perfect. Exactly. So even if you just did it once, I want to hear it. Um, Mandy, didn't do the 10 DMs, but I did the other ones. So yes, do it today. That's awesome. Savannah, not exactly 10-10-10, but started following several people who posted, and it's been so much fun interacting with them. There you go. Yeah, see? So following can count too. Like the 10 minutes is all just about engagement. I use 10-10-10 because it kind of gives you an easy, okay, 10 comments, 10 minutes, 10 messages, whatever it is. But yeah, following a couple new people, going and finding new people in your local area to interact with, finding new real estate agents or referral partners to work with, like all of that counts. It's all engagement, it's all good. So whether it's 10 minutes or 10 of a specific metric, way to keep going. But yeah, Penny, you did a few. Yeah, I love to hear it. That's awesome. And yeah, Melanie, I did it, but it was hard because of all the ads. That is super annoying. I feel that. So good job on you for searching. You can also go into your profile and click on the people you follow. And then you could even just kind of scroll through there and see if there's a few people you kind of deliberately want to make sure you're engaging with. That's a good way of finding them if they're not just organically showing up in your feed. And the thing I'll remind everyone is the more you do this, the better your feed will get, right? Because your feed is trying to feed you, hence the word feed, right? The right content of stuff that you've already engaged with. So the content you're liking, the content you're seeing, yes, ads get put in there a lot, and a lot. But the more you're engaging with other people's posts, the more it's going to show you posts from those same people. So always a good. Yes, and Mark, you can create favorites in Instagram. So yes, you can absolutely mark a profile as a favorite, and then that'll tell Instagram, hey, surface this content more often for me. And that's a really, really great one.
You could do that in Facebook too for 30 accounts.
Mhm.
Make sure that you favorite your own so everything that posts there shows up in your personal feed every time you open it up. So favorite yourself, follow yourself. It's like not voting for yourself as class president, because
No, but it's not taboo anymore. I feel like it
right.
used to be really like, oh, embarrassing you liked your own post. Now it's like you're not liking your own post. Like if you're not going to hype your stuff up, who else is?
Yeah.
So big mindset shift, but good job everyone who's gone in there, who's worked on it. Very, very impressed. So yeah, we're doing a lot with engagement and that was all of last week. So great job. If anyone recorded a video from last week, between last week and this week, let me know if you did it, how it went, questions, comments, blocks, whatever's going on. This is your last chance to have me live, everybody. So let's use it today. I think I see a raised hand. Is that John? Do you have a question? Are we able to unmute? Like, look,
Oh, I think he lowered it.
that's good.
So before we get started, I do have an announcement at the
Oh,
end of boot camp today. So make sure that you stick around because there's something special for everybody that's attended at least one of these boot camps. So yeah, and then also, as before, if you want to share your video, share your page so that we share the love, right? And all just follow each other. Go ahead and drop those in the comments as well, those links to your new videos.
Perfect. Yes, we
Thank
love
you.
to hype
And
it up. Those engagement buddies that we're finding. Yes, all of the things. So great job, everyone who is engaging, who is working on it. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, Heather, I see your question. I'm going to come back to that because I do want to give you an in-depth answer and I want to make sure we're not cutting ourselves short on today's session. So let's get into it really quick. We're going to talk about creating a consistent schedule because the number one thing I was hearing from you guys is I run out of time, I don't have the energy, all of the things. I've given you in week 2, right? I gave you the whole list of ideas. We also gave you a list of video hooks. So in terms of ideas and coming up with stuff, you're set. You've got your resources, and at the very least, you have social coach scripts. So if you want to jump in there, we have 300 ready to go scripts. It literally tells you exactly what to say. So that's not what I'm going to be focusing on this week. This week, we're going to talk about how to set yourself up for success. So these are my 3 best strategies for helping you stay consistent. Number 1, batch record your videos. And what that means is don't just try to do one video at a time. Because what's going to happen is you're going to build it all up. It's going to take forever. You're going to sit down. It's going to take you 10, 15 minutes to get into the zone. You're going to record it. You're going to say, okay, I did my one video, done. And then you're going to go, what do you mean that I have to do this again tomorrow and the day after that and Friday and Saturday? And no, this is ridiculous. So instead, what I want you to do is you're going to block out 1 hour during the week where you're like, this is going to be my recording time. And I say recording time very deliberately. This is not your content planning. This is not your let me come up with ideas and then film them. This is purely for filming, sitting in front of the camera and recording. Okay, so I would find a time that works best for you. Maybe that's really early in the morning. Maybe that's, after 5 p.m. Maybe it's your lunch break. Maybe it's a specific day of the week. Maybe everyone goes to you on Fridays, so you might as well record a video on Friday, right? So find that time that works for you and block it out and do not let people block over it, right? Do not let the client calls interrupt. I mean, if you really have to pick one up, okay. But try to really take that time because it's so much harder to get back in the same mindset multiple times a week. Whereas when you say, okay, I know on Friday morning I have to shower, I have to look good, I'm going to wear a shirt that makes me feel nice, I'm going to sit in front of this camera and I'm going to knock out 4 videos. That's 1 video a week, and that's an entire month's worth of content right there. So if you can do it in 1 hour, 1 session, 4 videos, boom, you're going to feel so much better walking away from that session. It's going to feel productive. You'll have been mentally prepared to do it, right? You're going to be like, okay, I know I have to be ready to be on camera. I'm going to get in the zone. It's going to be good. So I know it sounds basic. You're like, okay, duh, block off an hour. But the 2 biggest things I see people do is they block off the time and then they just don't stick to it, or they get there and they sit down and they go, okay, I blocked off my hour. Now what? What am I filming? I don't know. And so they haven't prepped for that filming time. And that's the easiest way to also kind of waste that time and feel discouraged is when you go to sit there, you go to film, but then you're like, oh, wait, I don't have my hooks ready. I don't have my content ideas ready. I'm not actually ready to film. Oops. So if my other tip would be if it makes it easier for you guys, block out an hour for planning and an hour for recording and don't put them on the same day. So I would say like Mondays, say I'm going to plan my week's content knowing that I'm recording this on Friday. But if you're putting it on a Friday and you have to do it on Friday, there's no pushing it, right? So you can't be like, oh, I'm tired Friday, I'll do it later. No. So you're going to set your 2 blocks of time, your planning time and your recording time. Then what I like to say is when you do that, you put your planning on Monday and your content recording on Friday. You have the whole week to write down ideas that come to you. So what I love to do is I keep a physical running list, like I keep a notebook or a sticky note or whatever near me on my notes app in my phone. And every time I have an idea, I write it down. And I try to write down more than just the topic. I don't just write down, ooh, down payment video. Because come Friday, I'm not going to remember anything about that. What I will write down is, oh, somebody asked me about, do I really need to save 20% down? Or if I have 20%, should I actually put it all down? That's a really specific, like, okay, I'm going to answer that question in a video. Or if I see a really good hook, I'll be like, okay, I saw this good hook on Instagram. I'm going to type that out and write it down, and I'm going to use that in my video on Friday. You,
I actually do the notebook. It's a spectacular idea. If you just have a little one with you in your whatever that you carry around with you. Um, and just write it down every time you get off the phone with a client and you think, what is the one thing I hope they take away from that conversation? Write that down. That's your content for your next post.
Yes, that's the number one thing we often say is like if you're on a call and someone asks you a question, put it on a sticky note, write it down, put it in a big list. And what I love to do too is I'll put a tally. So if I get the same question multiple times, I'll like put a star or an extra tally mark and I'll be like, oh wow, I got asked this question 5 times this week. That's probably the one I should answer in my video this week. So that's going to help you when you show up Friday with a whole running list of ideas. It's going to make you feel a lot better. And it's going to then save you time the next Monday. So all you have to do is go through this list and say, wow, I've got 10 ideas. Okay, I'm going to choose these four to record on Friday. Let me get some hooks for those really quick. And then now I'm set and I'm ready to record. It's going to cut your time down so much just by taking the time to write it out so that you have something to work from. I call it blank page syndrome, right? If you sit down and you're staring at something and there's no ideas to react to, it's so much harder to drag things up from the depths of your soul and be like, what on earth am I going to talk about? Whereas when you're
That's a good
sitting
way of
there,
putting
yes,
it.
right? Well, I'm a writer, right? I'm a writer by trade. I got a creative writing degree. And so when I sit there and I'm staring at a blank page going, I have to come up with the most amazing thing ever seen to man. No, it's not going to come. But if I'm sitting there going, here are 5 topics I can choose from, my brain
Hmm.
is definitely going to go, okay, that one sounds the most interesting to me right now. And there you go. And now you're off to the races. You're like, okay, now I have a topic or a title. Let me get a hook. And then it's way easier to build out the structure. And again, if all of that sounds terrible, use the scripts and social coach because we do it all for you. We get the hook, we have the CTA, we write it all out. So you literally just have to choose 4 topics and then assign them to yourself to do them and record them. So always good. Whoops. Oh, whoa. Hey, hello. Anyway, the last one, and again, this is going to sound basic, but making a commitment to yourself and sticking to it. So don't be the person who's like, okay, I'm going to post 3 videos next week and I've never done this before. And, that just knowing that that's not sustainable, don't make commitments to yourself that you know you're not going to keep. So if you're sitting there going, "Oh, I'm really actually going to do 3 videos and I have these 3 ideas laid out and I'm going to stick with this." Okay, if you've built in the system to make that sustainable, okay. But what I would really, really stick to first is just saying, okay, if I'm going to post once a week, I'm going to block out my 1 hour Friday. I've got my 4 content ideas. I'm going to do that and I'm going to post once a week. And that way I have a whole month of content ready to go. So we'll talk more about these strategies as we go through, but I just wanted to highlight those up front because it's really as simple as setting a goal, sticking to it, and then putting those things in place, like actually blocking out the time and making it easy for yourself. The same way we talked about making it easy for other people to engage with your content, right? Instead of asking a really open-ended question, giving them a word to comment, you're doing the same thing with your own brain. Instead of sitting there going, I have to come up with everything and do it all at once, you're sitting there going, oh, I already have this script. I might as well record it, right? Oh, I already have the time blocked. I might as well give it a try. So it's way easier when you already have that there and it's existing instead of trying to drag up the motivation whenever you feel like it. Okay, so we're going to switch gears slightly. I want to make sure that we all understand engagement metrics and what's important and why. And so this is getting a little bit into analytics. I'm not going to go super, super in depth on analytics because I know not everyone's a numbers person and I don't want everyone tuning out. So if you have specific questions, feel free to let me know. But the first thing I want to go over is just what engagement metrics matter, what you should be paying attention to, and kind of what they indicate. So, number one, saves is probably one of the metrics that is not going to help your content that much, right? It's not actually going to boost your content. But I think saves are a really, really good indicator of someone saying, this piece of content was valuable. I learned something from it that I want to come back to later. Are they going to come back to it later? Who knows? A lot of us probably save a lot of things and never come back to it. But what I would say is if you're seeing people saving it, something about that made them say, I should remember this. Put this in the back of the brain. I'm going to remember this. So what I would do is say, okay, I got more saves on this piece of content than my other video. What about this topic was interesting? And can I do a new hook? Can I spin this in a new direction? Can I do a series answering 5 different questions about this topic and see how those perform? Because clearly there is interest here. So that's a good way to look at saves. Likes. Like we all know likes are great. Likes are more important than you think, but also less important than you think. And I know that sounds contradictory, but essentially what I see is that a lot of people go, oh, well, I got some likes, but those don't matter. And I'm like, well, likes do matter. And what they tend to look at now in the current algorithm is a watch time to engagement ratio. So the one thing I will emphasize that is not technically a metric that most people look at. Watch time is your most important metric. And we've talked about that in the last few sessions, right? How we've talked about why hooks are important, why it's important to lock people in those first couple seconds, and then why it's important to keep them all the way to the end of the video. Because watch time, if you can get people to watch more and more of your video, that's what's going to push your video out in the algorithm. Now, likes, right? If you're getting that engagement on top of the watch time, that is absolutely going to help you, right? All of these engagement metrics on top of watch time is going to help. The problem is what we've learned is if someone likes your video and then scrolls 5 seconds later, that's not going to be as impactful. The watch time matters way more than the like does because someone might just see, like, I might be like, oh, it's Camilla. I don't really want to watch the whole video, but I'm going to like her thing for her and scroll. Okay, well, the algorithm's like, you're still not sticking around to watch the content. And what the algorithm wants, what the social media platform wants, is people spending hours and hours and hours of their time on the platform. So you might be liking it, or other people might be liking it, but if they're not sticking around to watch the whole thing, those likes just aren't as impactful. That being said, if you have a video that got a lot more likes than another one, that is still a valuable way to look at your content and say, that got a lot of likes. Let me look at the watch time. Is my watch time longer? Is that why I got more likes? Or am I getting more likes, but my watch time isn't improving? And then that's where you want to sit and go, okay, if the watch time still hasn't gone up, then I need to work on the level of entertainment and engagement in my content, right? Making sure people want to stick around to the end. Um, Jamil, any advice on how to get more saves, as in directing the audience to save it? I personally completely forgot that was a feature available. Absolutely. So the biggest thing I think that helps with saves is telling or asking people to do that, is saying, hey, make sure to save this video for later to come back to. Honestly, the hard thing with that one is I'm like, it can help, but the same thing, that's not really a behavior that's going to help you, right? Like them saving your video, even if they never go back and watch it, it is a good metric to have, but it's still not going to help you because then they're not coming back to interact with you. What I would more encourage is, hey, follow me for more like this. You know, if you send this video to a friend if you find it helpful. I think those are more powerful call to actions because it is showing that engagement, but it's doing it in a way that it's not just going to get shoved in a folder and sit there forever. So if you want more saves, I would just ask for them. Just say, hey, make sure you're saving this for later. Comment this if you want more resources, you know, whatever it is. But I would say that's why saves are kind of lower on my list because they're valuable to know, oh, someone cared about this, but they don't do much beyond that, if that makes sense. The one exception I'll say is if you want to save content for yourself, that's a great idea. I do that all the time where if I see videos with a good hook or videos with good tips, I'll save them in folders. And then when I'm stuck on ideas, I'll go look in those folders and scroll through. And that's a great way to use it. Hopefully that's helpful. Let me know if you have more questions there. Comments. We've talked a lot about comments. Comments are a great way to boost your engagement, especially if you are responding to them and the algorithm is seeing, okay, 2 comments turning into 4 comments, turning into 8 comments. That is great. That being said, comments, the reason they are helpful is because they are creating a discussion. So when someone comments and you respond with a question and they come back to your video, not only are you getting another view on that video, but if they respond again, that's that additional comment. So that's why comments can actually be very practically helpful, not just, oh yeah, you want comments for the sake of engagement, but actually you're getting people to continuously come back to your video and read through. As we've talked before, the more comments you have, the more people have to read while they're watching your video, which can also increase that watch time. So that's why I always encourage you being your own first comment, commenting your call to action or your question, continuing the conversation, adding a bonus tip or an extra tidbit. Just give something for people to read in that comment section, and that's going to really help. And that's why your engagement buddies too, right? It's helpful not just to put a couple emojis or a great video. It's helpful to just add some commentary in a way that will give people something to react to. So that can be really helpful. Even if you're just like, oh, this is a really good video. I think more buyers should know this. That's way more helpful than, yay, great video, right? And then again, we've talked about the search engine optimization, right? So adding keywords into those comments is also going to help your searchability. So that's what makes comments so valuable. It's the, hey, you're getting people to interact and engage. which then tells the algorithm more of the same topic of like, this is who cares, this is who's engaging, we should show this to more people. And if you can get people to respond back and forth multiple times, you're bringing people back to your content over and over and over and getting that conversation going. So I've seen threads that go like days where people keep coming back to the same video and responding back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So if you can get that going in your comments, that's going to be really valuable because again, it's also going to show the algorithm, oh, this keeps getting more views and people keep coming back to this video to comment on it. Something about this is super engaging. We should show this to more people. So that's also why it's really, really valuable. And then the big kahuna of engagement. So if like watch time is king, but if you're looking at the actual like engagement metrics beyond watch time, shares is the one that you want to be targeting. Um, I would say that a share is just the biggest indication of value. It's kind of like the highest recommendation. It's like a referral, right? Basically, it's someone else saying, hey, I found this super valuable. I think you should listen or watch this as well. So if you can get people to share your content, that is going to not only again help you increase views because every time it's sent to someone and they watch it, that's an additional at least one view, if not more. But it's also indicating to the algorithm, hey, people are sharing and it's bringing people who aren't on this platform onto the platform. So that's why they really, really highly reward those shares.
So
So
there's a statistic also that every time you share to a different page or platform, it increases your reach by up to 300%. So if you've got a great post on your business page, share it to your personal page, right? Share it to any groups that you're in. Share it, and you can share also funny stuff, right? That will easily get interaction and stuff. Like, have you seen those like how ripe of a banana do you eat? Just to create interaction, right? You get so many comments and answer back to everyone, even if it's jokingly, like, yeah, this is why we're friends, or why do you eat something that's still sour, right? But it's a little way of cheating the system. So sharing is huge.
yes, sharing is really big, and that's exactly why. That's thank you for sharing that stat, Camille, because yes, creating shareable content is one of the number one ways to grow. And so I know it feels hard sometimes to be like, how is this shareable? How do I make it shareable? And the two recommendations I would give are speak to a really specific audience, right? Make sure you're asking for that share, right? So I always remind people like at the end of a video, it's easy to be like, hey, send this to somebody you know who would find this helpful. Or if you're talking about Kansas down payment assistance programs, right? Being like, hey, send this to somebody you know who lives in Kansas and should know about this. Like that's a really easy way to remind people like, oh, even if this video isn't helpful to me, or I've watched it this far, but I'm not in Kansas, so I was just curious from a California standpoint. Now, not only am I probably going to comment, what about California down payment assistance programs? But I'm also, if I have a friend in Kansas, I'm going to send it their way, right? So that's a good way of just, again, reminding everybody, hey, share this if blank. And if that does apply to them, they're a lot more likely to do it. I had one more tip and I'm going to remember it right now, right? It was something about hooks or call
Sure.
to actions. Shoot,
Mm,
I'm going to come back to it. It'll come back to me, I promise. But there was one more I was going to say about shares. And it was something about your wording. Oh, I know what it was. It's in your hooks. It's easy to speak to your audience, but it's better. The better result is going to be to speak to the result, right? And I know that's going to sound basic again, but essentially, I see a lot of people where they start with like, hey, if they want a specific audience, they'll be like, hey, single parents, let me tell you about this program. Great. And we even have a script like that. Like that can work. It gets the attention of the people who are relevant. But even better, if you have a program that delivered results, if you have a case study or a client or something like that, if you can say, here are the 3 steps I took to help this client achieve this despite this challenge. Now, not only are you speaking to an audience, right? It's making it specific without you having to say this is only relevant to you if blank. That's a very specific category. But if you're sharing a problem and a solution, what's going to happen is people are going to go, I want to know how you did that. Why do I want to know that? Probably because some piece of this problem is relevant to me and I want to know the solution. And so that way you're not having to say, oh, let me speak exactly to the right audience. You're letting the right audience find you by just presenting the solution and saying, hey, I had a client who had a super low credit score and thought they'd never qualify. Let me show you the 3 things I helped them do to get them qualified and into a house within a year. There you go. Now you're going to get all these people who probably have lower credit scores or want to improve their credit, or maybe they have a high credit score and just didn't know. All these people are going to sit and watch because it's more of a process, it's more of a solution, and that's going to give you more of that result that then they want to share it, right? Because then they also are going, "Hey, if this helped me and I know someone else who has the same problem, I am helping them by sharing the solution," instead of just kind of sending, like, that's why news stuff does really well, right? Because it's like a notification or an information. It's helpful. But the result stuff does so, so well. So that's the tip I wanted to share. Okay, so then now that we know kind of which metrics matter, right? Because I think everyone, it's easy to say, oh, I know you should get likes and comments and shares and all of it. But now you know you kind of want to prioritize watch time, you want to prioritize shares, and then comments, and then likes and saves are a good indication of like, okay, something here is valuable, but I could make this more compelling. So that's your quick recap on like why all of that matters. Now we're going to talk about how to refine your content using your analytics. So the first thing I want to start by asking is, right now, if you were to look at one of your posts, what would make you say, oh, wow, that was a really good post. That was a success? Because this is going to be different for everyone. And I really want to hear your answers both after I've just told you all the statistics and the metrics that matter. But I'm curious now, like thinking to yourself, is it really, oh, if I hit a certain number of shares, that's what makes this awesome? Or is it something a little bit less tangible? Is it more of, oh, if people are engaging with me, if someone DMs me a question, like likes and comments, okay, yep, a mix. Mm-hmm. Views, that's a good metric to be looking at. Yeah. So for you, a video would be successful if it got a lot more views. If someone new likes or comments on a post, I like that one a lot, MJ. I think that's a really good metric of success. Of, ooh, okay, someone who wasn't previously followed me is now engaging with me. That's definitely a success. Views, engagements in the comments, messages, yep. Views and shares, great. Comments and DMs, more shares, love it. Views and comments. My bad photos of my chickens get much more views on my page than anything else. Yep. I will tell you, animals and children, engagement bait. You will always get more interaction on those. Um, do views reflect the people who watch the video all the way through? No. So a view is anyone who has seen the video pop up on their page, no matter how long they watched. Um, yeah, so that it's watch time is within your analytics. I can go in more in depth there, but it's within your analytics in the platforms. There is a specific metric that will show you watch time. Views is literally just like if it popped up on someone's feed, if they scroll within a second, it still counts as one view versus if they watch the whole thing, that's still one view. But they are weighted differently from that watch time metric, if that makes sense. Are you getting calls and are you getting clients? That's a really good success metric. And yeah, Lisa, funny enough, I got a lot of calls and texts regarding your video, right? Because here's the biggest thing, especially when you start doing video when you haven't, it reminds people that you're there, right? And they just go, oh my gosh, Camilla, I haven't seen you in forever. It was so much fun with the video. It suddenly makes me want to reach out. It opens you up, right? This is why video feels vulnerable because it's putting yourself out there in a way that feels vulnerable and personable. But what it does is it makes people say, oh, Camilla wants people to reach out because she is willingly putting herself on social media. She is open to me now reaching out to her, right? It just opens that door to get people to say, oh my gosh, if you're posting on social, like, hey girl, let me hit you up. So I really love that, Lisa, and I'm super, super glad to hear it. Okay, I'm gonna keep going a little bit and then I'll come back to questions, I promise. So this like success is going to look different for each of you and it does change over time. So the biggest thing I like to discourage people from doing is don't go look at the influencer with 100,000 followers and look at their view count and go, oh, man, they're getting 10,000 views per video. Why am I even trying? No, that's not going to help you. That's not going to help anybody. And so comparing yourself to other people also doesn't tell you the full story. The number of influencers that I see who get like 200 views on some videos even though they have thousands and thousands of followers. I'm like, that's way more embarrassing to me than someone with 200 followers getting 200 views. That means that all of your followers watched your video. Like you're not really looking at the full picture when you're seeing one single metric from other people. And I also like to say we definitely see people who have tons of followers and get lots of views, but still struggle to get like the deals in the door from that. And then we have people who are like, oh, I post consistently, but I don't post crazy often and I only have like 600 followers, but I get like 2 extra deals every month just because the videos do decently and they're highly, highly engaged with their audience. And I think what happens is their audience shares their videos around. And so they're constantly getting new leads and new referrals because they're staying top of mind with the 200 people that really know them and have used them before. And those people are then going and doing a lot of the marketing for them. So a lot of this doesn't always show up in the numbers the way you think it should. And I think the biggest thing I just like to emphasize is if you're seeing low views, low engagement, low numbers, and it's making you feel like it's not worth it, I would really consider and think to yourself, why am I actually doing this? What does success actually look like? And then see how you can make that happen. Because again, a lot of it's not like, oh, if I hit 1,000 views on every single video, great. But if you never get a deal from it, maybe it's going to start feeling like it's not worth it. So you need to really define what success looks like to you and then make sure your content is helping you there. And so if you're starting those conversations, if you're getting comments, if you're getting DMs and you're like, oh, okay, that's all I really wanted from this, then that should be a success. And that's how you can help yourself stay consistent, stay encouraged, and not lose sight of like, oh, I'm getting lost in the vanity metrics is what we call them of like, I want to go viral, but does going viral actually deliver the results you want? Not always. Okay. So now that I've kind of, that's my little like warning that I just prefaced because as we get into analytics, it's just, it can be a lot. It can be intimidating. It can make people feel like, oh, my numbers are way lower than that. Oh no, that's okay. That's a great place to start. And we're going to talk about it. So the number one thing you want to do with your content, and this is why we recommend posting more consistently, even if that's once a week, twice a week, stay consistent because what you're going to do is you're going to establish a baseline. And that baseline is you're going to take the last 30 days of your posts and your content, and you're going to say, what are the average likes, views, shares, whatever metrics matter to you, watch time on these videos? And there is zero judgment, and you are not sitting here going, oh no, this is bad. All you are doing is saying, what is it? Is it 10 views a video? Is it 2 likes a video? Do I average 0 shares on a video? Okay. So for my last 30 days, I averaged 10 views, 0 shares, and maybe like 2 comments. Okay, great. Now I know where I'm starting. So now I'm going to look at the same videos, all 30 days of those videos, and I'm now going to say, okay, did any of these get more than 10 views? Did any of these get more than 2 comments? Did any of these get any shares at all? And what you might see is you might be like, oh yeah, actually one of my videos got 100 views. And so that brought my average up, but like most of, okay, I'm using bad numbers here but like let's say you have 50 views, right? Is your average. Some videos are going to have 10 views, some are going to have 100. What you then want to do is go look at that 100 view video and go, what did I do differently? And what about this got more attention? Did I have a strong visual hook? Is the topic more interesting? Was I outside instead of at my desk? What happened here that got that view count a little bit higher? Same thing with shares, with the other metrics, with watch time. You're going to just say, okay, if I have this baseline of most of my videos get around 50 views, this one popped off, what happened? And then those are what we call your engagement drivers, right? So that's saying, okay, something about that drove more engagement. Can I do this again? Can I replicate this? Can I put more of this in my other content? And then you can iterate, and that's where you can take that and see that start doing really well. You want to make sure you're looking for similarities in your content because of this, and don't just go, oh, it's exactly for this reason, right? It's hard to identify exactly why a video might do well, but what I would look for is patterns. So I would say, okay, can I tell, if my watch time spikes, that's a really good indicator that something in the beginning of the video helped. So maybe you're like, okay, I put my call to action at the front of the video, which meant people commented to get whatever, I said comment 7 if you want my 7 hooks guide. So a lot of people said 7 in the comments, so I got more comments. So okay, that worked. Putting my call to action at the front of the video helped me get more comments. But then my watch time stayed longer after that. Okay, so if people stuck around to comment, that meant they ended up watching more of the video, which means they ended up staying for longer. Hopefully that makes sense. It's like you're piecing together the puzzle of why did people stick around to engage? What about this video kept them? And honestly, your goal is just to get them to watch for as long as possible. And then you're going to build the engage with me, follow me, stick around for more. All of that's going to come after that. But the number one goal I would focus on is how do I get people to watch for longer? How do I make this more interesting? How do I make it more fun to watch? And that's going to be where you see that view count start going up higher and higher and higher. So yeah, And I would think about, yeah, not a lot of people thinking about filming location. Like, I'm like, oh, we'll look at their account and immediately I'm like, oh, I can tell why this one video did way better than your others because most of your videos are you sitting at your desk talking to the camera. And in this one, you were walking around a house showing us all the different features. That was a bit more visually engaging and it was interesting and different. So if you can do more of that, if you can see, oh, I was at my kid's soccer game when I recorded this, and that one did way better because it was just me answering a question in a casual setting. Okay, try doing that again. So it doesn't always have to be a soccer game, right? But kind of saying, okay, maybe content that isn't just in the same place or content that isn't at my desk or more casual or better hook or answering a question. Like there's different ways your content might perform well. And so if you can identify those patterns and try to replicate them, that's what you're going to see success. And a lot of big creators do this where they have one video go absolutely viral and then they just figure out how to recreate it over and over and over and over and over again. Like I've seen a couple of like baking videos, right? Where they have a big bowl and they're stirring something and then they show it and it's like they just start every video with that exact same hook, but it's a something different in the bowl every time. That's how you can kind of serialize your content when you're recognizing, oh, every time I answer a question, that video does better. Every time I'm outside, that video does better. Now you know I'm just going to make more of those, add them to my content list, and it's going to help you feel encouraged and stay consistent. Okay, and then secondly, talking about SEO, because we've talked a lot about the search, right? Appearing in search, and because it's getting more and more relevant as social content appears in Google searches, especially video content. So if you are trying to figure out how is my SEO working, am I showing up in search results, what's going on? One, if your impressions, your reach, if those are going up, if they're way higher than your other videos, odds are you've hit on something that people are searching for, right? So a keyword or a topic. So if people are sharing it, or if you're just saying, oh, wow, this video got 1,000 views compared to my normal 100, what's going on? Maybe it's the hook. Maybe it's you used a really specific keyword about, and I know I use the same example every time, but down payment assistance in Kansas. Maybe people are really searching that and your video has surfaced. So what I would do is go search that term, see if your video is showing up. And if it's showing up in their first few results, you know, oh my gosh, okay, my video is showing up when people search for this. These were good keywords. Can I do more videos like this using those same words? Can I do a quick series about, 3 different programs in Kansas? Here's part one. Or can I talk about down payment assistance in every state? And that's 50 states. That could be a 50 video series. So you can kind of take that one idea and then just use that to create more and more content from it. This is why it's also really important that your hashtags and captions are relevant. We talked about that last week. So just as a reminder, like keeping your hashtags and your keywords relevant and not just trying to throw in random keywords or random things that could confuse the algorithm. You want to make sure that you're keeping them specific because then when your video does well and you're wondering why, you'll know. You're not like, oh, which of these 30 hashtags was the one that did it? You're sitting there going, I had 3 hashtags. I'm going to test those 3 hashtags on 3 different posts, see if any of those perform better, and that's going to make it a lot easier. So that's another reason why we tell you don't just like cram a bunch of things into one post because it's like if anyone A/B tests emails, right? They always say don't test 2 completely different emails because then it's really hard to know, one's going to do better, but then you're like, I don't know why. Whereas if you test 2 different subject lines and then one gets more opens, you go, okay, that was the better subject line. Now I'm going to fix the opening sentence. Okay, now this one did better. Okay, now I'm going to fix the call to action. That's what you're doing in your videos as well. You want to kind of improve a little bit at a time so that you can know, oh yeah, I changed my hook only. That video did way better. Okay, now what can I change? Now I'm going to change the setting, or I'm going to fix my lighting, or I'm going to do my call to action not at the end of the video and see how that does. I'm going to stop introducing myself, right? All the tips that we're doing, just one at a time, and you're going to take it like that. Okay, quick pause. We're going to talk about growing with your schedule. I'm going to check the comments really quick because I know I've seen a lot of engagement, which I'm loving, everyone. Okay, yeah, I don't see any ROI. I don't like the social media keyboard warrior clientele. I think my advice there would be to post content that you enjoy posting and are because that's going to attract the type of audience that you like working with, right? So if you are constantly trying to be something you're not with your content, not only is that exhausting, not only is that harder, but also you're likely attracting people who are drawn to that specific kind of content. So Wendy, if you're kind of like, I don't like the keyboard warrior, I just want people who genuinely need answers to their questions, maybe all you do is you're like, I'm going to answer 2 client questions every week in videos. And I'm just going to give straight advice. I'm going to talk to the camera. I'm going to talk to you as if I was a client. I'm going to label it a series, FAQ Friday, or I'm going to say, like, here's um,
Coffee talk.
what's up with Wendy? Yeah, whatever it is. And you just answer that and you stay consistent with it. And I think you'll see people will appreciate, okay, Wendy answers questions every single week. I want to make sure I'm following so I get this help and this content. And then you're hopefully going to get more of that authentic engagement. Jose, my last 30 days, I went from -10 to -5. Hey, look at that. That's still an improvement, okay?
So good.
Whether
It's
that's
so good.
confidence or like, you can't really have negative metrics, I know. But something like that, it's just about improvement. And I think we get so hung up on, well, my video didn't get 1,000 views, so it doesn't matter and it's not worth it. That is not true. I always like to tell people, if you get 100 people to watch your video, you just filled a movie theater. If you got 1,000 people to watch your video, that's like a whole entire graduating class of high school, right? And if you've gotten 10,000 people, if you've somehow had a video go really get past that 1,000 mark and hit a couple more, that's a full concert. So I'm like, I think we need to reframe the fact that, okay, I only got 100 views. Well, that's 100 people that wouldn't have talked to you, wouldn't have seen you, wouldn't have interacted with you otherwise. So at least if they're seeing you and they're seeing your content and you're being visible and helpful, that is going to be so much more valuable to you over time. And I do think that that engagement, even if it's not always consistent, it still has an impact. So you'll see people that will be, I go to conferences and people are like, oh, I watch your videos all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. Never commented once and I'm not bitter about it. Like, it's fine. But I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. I would have had no idea you were watching and you found it helpful because you've never commented. But they'll still say, oh yeah, I watch every one. I love them. I'm like, oh, okay, great. Glad it's doing something for you. So don't get discouraged. There is a whole thing of like quiet engagement, silent engagement. Engagement is a lot harder to get nowadays, but just being visible is the first step. So the more you can get out there, the rest will come as you get better and you iterate. Edwin, what is a ghost comment? What is a ghost
So
comment?
he said don't post and ghost. So the idea is when somebody comments on anything, it creates a friction, right? And if you comment back and leave it open-ended, like which part did you like specific or how was your weekend? Anything, right? They go answering. That friction keeps showing social media, especially like Facebook, that there's attention there. They want to send more people to see it. So they'll keep showing it to more and more people. The more comments you get, the more friction. And you want to keep that ball going when you first get it. Don't be like, I can't till later. If you can and you're in the grocery line, yes, please do right then. Because that's where the ball really gets going. And that's how you grow your social media. So don't
Totally.
post and ghost.
Yeah, so the posting and ghosting, think of it as like if a client texted you and you never texted them back. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Or well, if somebody walks by and says hi and I like that
And you
little
just like
ghost comment.
stonewall. Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
when people, especially because engagement is harder to get nowadays, if people are taking the time to comment, the best thing you can do is respond. And I know for like Wendy, when you were saying like the keyboard warriors, the people who get really up in arms, I know sometimes you're like, oh, if they're angry or if it's a negative comment, I won't engage, I won't respond. But I've seen a lot of people have a lot of success when they actually respond kindly, like don't feed the fire. But if someone's like being really negative, they're like, oh, housing is just so unaffordable these days. If you can say, I agree, I totally get why you feel that way, but I've actually been able to help a lot of clients who felt that way get into a dream home. If you have questions or if you want me to help you, I'm here. And sometimes that person won't respond, but other people are reading those comments on your videos. And if they're saying, oh my gosh, Wendy just actually seems super helpful. Okay, this is going to make me, I'm not going to comment, but I am going to message her because I do feel like housing is unaffordable, but let me ask her a question. A lot of the engagement is happening kind of behind the scenes in that way. But if you're being public about your responses, if you're showing people what it's like to do business with you, how you're helpful, what it's like to just engage with you, people are absorbing that. They're learning it, and it's going to give them more information and more reason and more inclination to reach out to you, right? I always say, if I'm Googling somebody and I have to go off of a website versus if I get to watch videos of somebody, like maybe I'm looking at Edwin's website and I'm like, okay, Edwin seems nice, but I feel really awkward just like emailing him out of the blue. I don't know. Whereas if Wendy's posting content and I see her videos and she's answering questions and engaging, well, now I'm kind of like, oh, okay, maybe I'll just DM Wendy because she seems engaging. I know what it looks like to talk to her, to work with her. That's a little bit more engaging to me than a website. that's what we're doing here, right? You're trying to stay visible, stay relevant, and give people, like, open those doors, basically, give people opportunities to come talk to you. So that's what content is all about. And yes, Jamal, I did see that comment. I was going to come back to it, but yes, location tagging is huge. So if you are, especially if you have content that is specific to an area or a demographic, if you can add the location on your video when you share it, that's going to help the algorithm know, oh, I should show this to people in Kansas. Using my example, like down payment assistance in Kansas, you tag Kansas, it's going to show this video more to people in Kansas rather than blasting out to New York and seeing if that's going to get engagement. So same thing with with hashtags, how we talked about the hashtags help categorize your content. That location tag can be really helpful. If you're going to conferences and you're sharing out a video telling people to go meet up with you at the conference, tag the conference location because everyone else going to that conference in that location is more likely to see the video if that's the case, right? If you're talking sports, tag the sports team location, whatever it is. That's going to help make it more relevant and is definitely going to help you with that. Do I have any feedback on tips for choosing locations? I would say if your content is generic, like if it applies to a lot of people, I wouldn't tag to a specific area because it could be limiting or like it could kind of misconstrue it. Unless if you're trying to say I am a California-based lender and you're sharing that, even if the information applies to everyone, tagging California could help there. If you were speaking to a specific program with or like licensing state or anything, absolutely tag that state. I think you can tag a whole state, not just a city. And then in terms of actual like location tagging, I would just say if you're talking about something really specific or in a location, definitely tag that. If you're talking about a neighborhood, if you're talking about a coffee shop, if you're talking about something, tag the location and tag the coffee shop because they might reshare your post, they might want that promo, and then that's getting your stuff out to a whole new audience. That's why we also talk about like tagging other people, collaborating posts. If you do like joint videos with your referral partners and you both collaborate or tag each other on it, then you're getting shown to their audience, they're getting shown to your audience. It's a great way to kind of double your exposure to new places and new things. So hopefully that helps. I'll answer the other question. I know we're already running long and we're almost at time, so I will keep going and we will have a long Q&A today because I know it's the last one. But in terms of how to ramp up your content, so if you're someone who isn't posting at all, start with once or twice a week. But if you're someone who's like, okay, I am posting at least once or twice and I want to know how I'm supposed to ramp up to do more, what I would say is start by posting a certain number of days a week, right? So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're like, okay, I've got my 3 post schedule. Figure out what type of content you're posting on each of those days so it's not a mystery every week. I think the biggest thing I see people do is they go, okay, I'm going to post twice a week. But then every single week they get there and they're like, what am I going to post? What am I posting Tuesday, Thursday? Or what am I posting Monday, Wednesday, Friday? That becomes really, really hard, really tiring, and really easy to burn out if you're just trying to come up with it on the spot every week. So what I would do is create categories or series content. This is my favorite tip ever. If you can give yourself a set category for a specific day of the week, that's going to make it so much easier to know what you're posting about and why. So I would say like a Market Monday post, right? If I'm like, okay, every Monday I'm going to post an update on the market, whether it's good, whether it's bad, or if there's really nothing to report, I guess I can skip it and try something else. But that's going to help you be like, okay, now anytime I see any market relevant news, whether it's real estate, whether it's, rates going up and down, oh, that's my post for Monday. And that makes it so easy, right, to build that content list in the same way. So you're not sitting there going, okay, I should come up with something completely random on Monday. You're knowing what you're posting. I've done this with my Tip Tuesday series. Makes it so easy. Every single Tuesday, I share a social media tip. It's broad enough that sometimes I'm like, okay, I've got to come up with something, but at least I know, okay, every Tuesday, that's what I'm posting and I have somewhere to start. Makes it a lot easier. Um, yeah, the more comfortable you get with video and with posting, the easier it is to add more in, right? So if you are doing 2 times a week and you're like, okay, I could do more of this, or I could do different types of videos, or I'm more curious to see if I can level up, that's where you want to start with like, okay, I'm posting once or twice. And then once that starts to feel easier and you're like, oh, okay, like this is fine, that's when you can push yourself to level up. I wouldn't just jump in right away because that's going to get really overwhelming. And then, yeah, in terms of the content series and the consistency, I found that you can even do short series. Like some people are like, well, I worry about doing an FAQ every single Friday because what if I want to skip a Friday or what if I, run out of ideas? Okay, that's okay. The thing here is most people aren't tracking your content the same way you are, but if you're giving people a reason to come back, that makes them more likely to sit there and go, oh, I know Camilla posts a helpful FAQ every single Friday. So now on Fridays, I'm a little more like, oh, where's Camilla's video? Like, I'm excited to see what she answers this week, right? Or if it's oh, okay, like I think I gave the example before. Someone told me they're like, I get a donut every single weekend. And I was like, yes, share your donut flavor. And then maybe tag that with a mortgage chip and say, here's a donut and a do not was kind of my little like, make it fun and memorable, right?
That's cute. That's
Right?
super cute.
So it's like
Yeah.
now every week.
Donut or do not.
Yeah, maybe I'm just invested to see like, yeah, you get a donut every week. What flavor is it this week? And I want the review of like, is this good flavor or
Yeah.
not? Kind of like the
Yeah.
crumble cookie reviews, right? Like we have all seen those. People like we like to
Make sure a donut a week is within your diet. Like I can see what
well,
it
yeah,
would
this
do
was
to
one
me.
person. He's literally like, I go to a donut shop every week. And I was like, turn it into content, my man. That is a series in itself. If you do something all the time anyway, just turn it into content somehow because then it's just going to become natural. It's a habit. It's like going to the gym. It's like if you go to the gym, okay, do a tip as you're walking into the gym every day. Be like, all right, here's my workout routine for today, and here's my mortgage tip for how to achieve the result you want. Whatever it is, just take the things you like doing and make it a series so that it's easy for you to say, okay, I know what my content's going to be about. It's easy for your audience to then say, oh, this is part two or part three of a series out of seven. Okay, yeah, I want to see the rest of the series. So whether it's here's the 7-step mortgage process, part one, here's what you're going to do, or 7 steps to improving your credit score by 20 points within 6 months. Like, you can walk people through it. You're starting with the results so people know why they should stick around, but then you're turning it into more content and it's giving you that leeway of instead of having to come up with 7 ideas, you're like, oh, that's a whole month worth of content with one series. And I'm just breaking it out. So it's good. Okay, sorry. I know there's so much this week. I'm just trying to cram it all in. Okay, so I want to give a quick example. This is Erica Slayton. She's with Preferred Rate, so she is one of you. She is someone that you probably all know. I love
Hmm.
her. I follow all her stuff. She's great. So her stories, she has identified the two main reasons that she posts on social media. Social proof, so that people know who she is, what she's like, showcase her knowledge and authenticity, and to help educate. And I love that she's identified here. She's like, I educate not just the consumer, but I also like to educate my real estate partners and my referral partners. So that gives her three different content pillars, right? Three different categories to be posting. She wants her social proof of, okay, let me show you why you should work with me. She has her, I want to educate consumers and I want to educate real estate agents. If she posted one video or one piece of content that addressed each of those things, that's 3 posts a week right there. So this is what I'm saying. Like if you identify your why, your content pillars, your what you want out of your content and your success, what's successful to you. For her, success is educating her audience, both sides of them, and showcasing social proof so that if people want to work with her, they go to here. So those are her reasons. So that's a really great place to start. What she used to do, she talks a lot about, she was like, I used to do a plug and play social media manager. It was $100 a month. She would edit and create her own images in Canva for static posts. She would edit her own videos in CapCut, and then she would upload them to Captions to get the right format, which is a whole nother app. And then she would also pay for BombBomb to do the video messaging, which, by the way, we now do for you too. So her interesting thing that she shared was she's like, my time is worth more than $200 an hour. And
Yeah.
so all of this was a huge waste of her time. So instead, she started using Social Coach and she loves it because it's the social media scheduler, right? So she doesn't have to do the $99 plug and play. She can schedule the content to all of her platforms. That saves time. Gives her ideas when she's fried. So when she has her series and she has her content and she has her list and she's like, I'm good to go, she can function on her own. If she's sitting there like, okay, it's a dead week, I have no client questions to answer, I'm stuck, we have all of our scripts and that gives her somewhere to go. And then my favorite part of what works well with APM and your team is you guys have an awesome team who set up automatic campaigns. So if you're sitting there like, okay, I want to be posting 3 times a week, but I can only do one video a week. Okay, great. I bet Camilla's got a bunch of content ready to go for you that can help you can post and can take up one of those posts every week. So you're staying visible, you're helping educate your audience, but it's less work on you and it's not as time consuming. And then my favorite part that I like to share here is here's her strategy. And I like it because it kind of just confirms what I was sharing earlier about when you just set yourself up for success by blocking out that time. So she records in the morning before the phone starts to ring. That way she's not getting interrupted. She's not, fielding calls. She's not using it as an excuse of, oh no, well, I was going to film on my lunch break, but then a client called me and now I can't, right? She does it early in the morning before it's an issue. That way she also feels good about herself, right? She's like, I'm fresh with makeup, my brain's at full speed, I'm warming up for the day, I feel productive. She usually does 2 videos when she's in record mode on Monday morning. So I was like, that's great. That means she only has to record, once a week. If she's doing 2 videos a week, that's once every 2 weeks if she does 1 video a week. So that really just, if you know, okay, I can only do 2 videos per session, now you know, okay, that means I have to record 2 or 3 times a month. That's not that bad, right? Whereas if you're trying to do this every single time you need a video, it's going to get really hard. And then if she has one-off topics, that also gives her the flexibility to do it on the fly. That's my other favorite part is it's like, okay, if you have 2 videos that you've recorded and you know they're going out this week, but then a client asks you a really good question on Wednesday and you're like, dang, I really want to answer that. You can record that video and then you either have extra content for that week or you can save it. And then that way for next week or a time when you're like, oh no, I got really busy, you have a content bank, which is what I call like saved videos that then you can pull from so that if you are getting to a point where you're like, I might have to skip this week. Instead, you have a bunch of videos that you've already made that were extra that then you can pull in and say, ooh, okay, I'm just going to share that one. It's ready to go. Now I have that for this week. And then I just pulled one of her videos from Social Coach just to show you guys that this doesn't have to be super complicated and hard. She's here, she's casual, she's in her house. And then we add the extra footage, we add the caption,
A B-roll.
B-roll. Yeah, we just make it nice
Yeah.
and easy. So all this is taking 10 minutes to sit and film, and then we take care of the rest for you. So I just really like to show kind of that example because
Great.
I think it's valuable just to see that it's not the most complicated process, and a lot of this
Hmm.
sounds really basic, but it is something you just have to be consistent with and commit to. And if you do, you're going to start seeing those results. So here, I also put this in because I loved her advice. She's like, do not look at yourself when recording. Everyone who was like, I feel self-conscious, I'm critical of myself, all of that, don't watch yourself when recording. Look at the lens only, the camera lens. And this was the advice I like to give. You're talking to the person on the other side of the video, not yourself, right? So if you are creating a video for real estate agents, you're picturing the real estate agents and you're talking to them. You're treating it like a conversation, and that's going to help you feel a lot more engaged and it's going to come off a lot better. I love that she says, like, it doesn't matter if you look or feel messy, it's authentic. Most people are not going to nitpick the same way that you're going to nitpick yourself, right? I do that all the time. I post a video and I'm like, my hair looks so weird there. No one even notices or comments. Like, it's fine. So don't let your own voice in your head hold you back because no one else is going to notice. And honestly, do you care if you post a video where your hair looks a little weird, but it gets you 2 deals? Okay, I'd wear a funny hairdo to get 2 deals. Like this,
Oh yeah. Oh
don't.
yeah.
So it's kind of like in the face of, it's
Hmm.
easy to like use those excuses or not even excuses, like it's fear and it's holding you back. And I understand why.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
think about it, if you're like, you know what though, if I post this video and I get a deal from it, am I going to feel like that was worth it? I think the answer is always going to be yes,
All of
right?
a sudden it's like, ooh, I'm great on camera. That was a great deal. All I have to do is that a once a week. Are you kidding me? I should have done this years ago.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
I like that she also emphasizes that you don't always want to just talk about mortgage. It's great to mix in that personal life. We've talked about that a lot here, like
Yeah.
putting
Be
in
your
fun
authentic self.
content, having like showing pieces of your personality, doing the whole like I go to the coffee shop every day or the golf course or here's what I like to do because it gives people things to talk to you about. It's hard to engage with just mortgage knowledge because not everyone knows enough to really engage, right? But if you're talking about mortgage and you're on the golf course, you're going to get a lot of comments about like, so how did that putt go though? You might be talking about mortgages, but you're going to get comments of people being like, what course is that? I'm curious. Like what they're going to comment on the rest of the video too. And that's still engagement and that's still a way to open the door. And maybe they're asking about the golf course and you're like, "Oh, I'll tell you, hang on, move to the DMs, I'll tell you about it." You go and then they go, "Well, while I have you, I'm
Yeah.
curious about refinancing because that is
Anything that starts a conversation, right? Like, what club are you using? Where did you go? I haven't been to that course.
that's how people work, right? We kind of feel rude just like immediately being
Oh,
like, I just want to
Edwin.
get in there and use you for information, right? But if you give them something to do that small talk with, it breaks the ice and it's great. Yes, bye, Edwin. Sorry to anyone. I know we're over, so
Yeah, if I could add one more time, there is a live demo for Social Coach done by me tomorrow. I've dropped the link there. And also, APM is giving anybody that attended even one of these boot camp sessions, a promo of Social Coach Basic for 3 months for free. Or you can get $150 off the pro package, whichever works for you. I'm dropping a link right now in the chat. Um, right there
Yeah.
for anybody that wants to sign up. It's a form. You don't have to put in any billing information. I'll just, after 3 months, get it taken care of then. The promo code is Bootcamp. And I'm really excited to see how many people sign up. I'll be holding your hand through the whole process, um, setting you up with social coach, how to use it, how to keep going. And I work with everybody at different levels, right? If you've never used social media before, if you've used it for a while, or if you're a pro. So we'll just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. So,
I love
um,
it. I think
yeah,
that's just such a good
thank
resource. And
you.
at the very least, if you're not posting anything right now on social, it's just going to make you more visible. So again, I always say progress over perfection. If you don't have to sit there and be like, oh, I have to go from zero to posting 4 videos a week. That's not it at all. But the more you do and the more visible you get, I think the more you'll be surprised that people then reach out. They want to talk to you. We've had so many people say that where they're like, oh my gosh, I posted one video and people just so many messages and comments and all the things. Just like what Lisa was saying earlier, all it takes is just a little bit of extra effort and it just helps you stay top of mind and visible. So then people feel like, oh yeah, I can reach out to Edwin. I can reach out to Camilla. I can reach out to these people to talk to them and just it keeps you top of mind and it's so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, 3 months of Social Coach Basic.
Yeah, show of thumbs. Anybody like that? Is
I hope
anybody
so.
still there?
I
It's a
love
little
that. That's
quiet.
an awesome promo. Huge kudos to the APM team for making that happen.
Yes, great.
Um,
I
yeah,
think you'll be very happy. I
I
was
love
talking to a guy yesterday that's like, wait, with social coach, I can get rid of this, but like he was like, I can get rid of my bomb as well, and I can get rid of this. And yeah, it was. I'm like, I'm really excited for you. I wish I was kind of you, so you could
right?
experience all this great stuff that you're getting now.
We're here to
Sign up now,
we're
okay?
just here to try to make it easy. We're trying to condense as many tools as we can. You know, the scheduling tool, the video editing, and now we do have our MVP, which is our BombBomb replacement. So it's video messaging that you can send via email or text. And because of that, what I love is I'm like, so many people want to send more videos, but then they're like, ooh, but I messed up. I'm like, just put it through Video Catalyst. And then that way the editing's right there, and then turn it into a page, and then you can send it to your clients. And I'll mention for anyone, I'm sorry, there's so much that I want to share with you guys, and it's the last time, but we have a section in our script library called Loan Milestone Scripts. It's one of our most underutilized features, I think. If you use those with my video pages, so what I would do is use the loan milestone script. You don't have to get these edited if you don't want to. You don't have to use your credits, but you can record the video of the loan milestone script. And what we've done is we've broken down like the different processes where we're like, hey, you're clear to close, or hey, your loan's under processing, or hey, I just sent this over to underwriting, like whatever it is. And you can record those. Don't add any client names in it, is the tip. Just record the script as it is. Then you convert it to an MVP, which means it's a shareable link. And then anytime you have a client who goes through that milestone, you can just send them that video and you don't have to re-record it every time. You can if you want. If you really want to make it super personal, great, super easy. You can do that too. But then you have a templated video that you can send every single time you have a client whose loan went clear to close. And we had someone do this, and my favorite comment and story I've ever heard is someone came back and a client was like, wow, that was such a nice video. Thank you for sending. You did not have to change your shirt to send me that, because they had been on a Zoom call earlier in the day and the video was a templated video, but he had a different shirt on. And so he was like, oh yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure I looked professional. And they were so impressed. And we all know obviously that, it was a recorded video from a different day, but they thought it was extra impressive. So that's just a super fun way to do it. Can that video be in the total expert to go out automatically on the milestone? Yeah, so you can take the shareable link, and if you put it into your email cadence, your CRM, total expert, wherever you want, if you put the link to the video page in there, you can, yeah, you can have that automatically go out. And my favorite part of the MVP, the video pages, they have a call to action button. So you can also, under the video, have a call to action. So if it's like, hey, text me, or here's a resource, or, check on your loan status, like you can put a button underneath it. And then we track both the views, the watch time to see if people watched all the way through, and the clicks. So you can see how many of your clients are clicking on that link and if you want to swap it out for something more effective. So Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. Wasn't meaning to go into a whole pitch, but I just think they're really fun features, really cool. So anyway, and the last tip Erica had here, getting back to it, was don't try to do tons and tons of takes. If you have a mistake, just run with it. And this is the thing I tell people when we use Social Coach as well. I'm like, the best part about us is we'll just cut out the mistake. So don't psych yourself out by being like, oh, I messed up, got to start over. Oh, I messed up, got to start over, ruin the whole video. That's where I see a lot of people getting frustrated and it taking them 10, 20, 30 minutes to record a video. Whereas what I say is, I'm like, if you're going and you mess up, just like pause, take a quick breath, and then just start from that last line and go from there. And then what we'll do is we'll just cut that part out, and then it's way faster, it's so much easier, and you're gonna feel less like I know people are like, I'm bad at video because it takes me 17 takes. It's like, no, this way it takes you one or two takes. If you really mess up so much that you're like, okay, I'll just start over, okay. But really, we recommend doing it in like two takes or less if you can. And then we'll just cut out all the mistakes and we'll make you look good. So don't worry about it. Okay. So I'm still going to give you guys action items or homework. Again, I'm
Edwin.
sure to follow up on it, but
Yeah.
biggest thing I'll say is we are at the end of a month, right? So starting in July, you have a whole fresh month, and July starts with a holiday, which means this is slightly more challenging, right? So you have this week to prep and get ready for July. So what I would do is I'm going to ask you all to set a goal for how much you're going to post next month. If that's once a week, twice a week, more than that, sit there and go, what is my goal for how often I'm going to post? And then you can commit to that and say, okay, how am I going to do that? Am I going to block out, okay, I'm doing 2 videos a week. So I'm going to go into Social Coach right now and pick 8 scripts. And I'm going to put a block of time on my calendar with the script link on that calendar, right? So maybe you're like, okay, I'm going to record on Monday and Wednesday. I'm going to record 1 video at a time. Or maybe you're like, here's my 2 videos to record the first hour of the day on Monday. You put that on your calendar and you're going to see it's like, oh, I have to record twice or 3 times the next month for an hour. Oh, okay. That's not that hard. So if you do it now and you do it for July, you're going to set yourself up for success. I will share a content calendar template you can use. It's like a spreadsheet in Excel. It's a little basic, but I sometimes it's helpful. You can print it out and write in it if you want, or you can just use it to kind of say like video and put your topic and do that. So it's really easy to help you keep track of it. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a whole document with content series ideas. So I know that we talked about that, and this is like my favorite hack is again, doing series makes your content so much easier. So my number one thing that I would say with this is before you open up the asset I'm going to send you, before you ever look at it, write down 3 ideas for your own content series. Please, please, please do it this way. Because what's going to happen is if you open my document first, you're just going to take 3 ideas from there and run with it. And that's going to be great. That's what it's there for. But if you sit down and write your own ideas first, they're going to be things that are more interesting to you. They're going to be more specific to you and your audience. And I think they're a lot more creative. I've seen people being like, oh, I should do a series about, you know, credit tips. It was Randy the Lone Pro is kind of his handle. And he went, Randy the Lone Pro, he's like credit tips that make you go, whoa. And I was like, there, perfect. So cute, so catchy. That's going to be
Hmm.
more specific and it's going to be more exciting and branded to you. I've seen people say, okay, content series idea. Every time I go on the golf course, I share a mortgage tip. Or I've seen people, oh my gosh, they go on the golf course and they like make bets. They're like, if I, like, I mean, they set up their video and they're like, if I make this in one, then you have to get a mortgage from me or whatever. Like they'll do series like that where it's kind of like you can tie something you like to something else. So before you look at my ideas, they're going to be more generic because they need to apply to everyone. Write down 3 ideas of content you like to do. And then you can look at my ideas and then maybe you can marry the two and figure out, oh, okay, FAQ Friday, that was a good one. I've used that example a lot. But maybe I do like a story time Tuesday or I do like a spill the tea Thursday. And it's like, let me tell you the real like challenges I've seen clients face every Thursday. And I give you a story time. Like you're going to be more creative with it. Jamil, define content series like how many posts. So this could go 2 ways. It's really up to you. What I would say is it's good to have your content, what I call a content series, like recurring wise, is like every week, kind of those categories where it's like every Monday I'm doing a market update, every Friday I'm doing a client question. Because to me, that just makes it really easy to then know what you're going to post and it makes you more likely to keep up with it. And it gives your audience something to be like, oh, I know that they post this type of content every so often. This doesn't have to be tied to a day of the week, right? It could be, hey, I'm going to do one testimonial every month. That's a recurring content series. Or you could take something like the loan process and break it into 7 videos. And then I would say is in that series, say, hey, here's my series of how to become a homeowner in 60 days, part one. And then you just go through part one and then you cut off the video and you say, hey, follow me for part two. And then part two, you go, this is part two of how to become a homeowner in 60 days. Here's what I talked about last time. Here's step two. And then you go through it. And that's just a really easy way to serialize your content in a way that gives people, like your audience, they're going to say, oh, now I know what to expect, right? Now I know I want to follow all 7 pieces of this how to become a homeowner in 60 days or whatever. And it's going to give people an idea of why they should follow you and keep coming back. And it's going to help you feel like, oh, I know what content I'm posting and why. So, like for Erica, her real estate audience, her consumer audience, and her social proof, those would be her content series. I would have her create a series around sharing her social proof, whether it's a story time, testimonial, whatever it is, create kind of a series sharing that, have a series for real estate education tips, and have a series for consumer home buying tips. And I wouldn't call it like home buying tips. I would name it something fun or come up with like something you do that makes you excited to share it. But then that way it's a series. Hopefully that makes sense. I hope that that makes sense. If that's not clear, just let me know. But those are your 2 action items for this week is set a goal and come up with your plan for next month and then come up with some content series because I think that's going to make it feel easier and easier for you guys is when you're like, oh, I know what I'm posting every Monday. Even if that's like, I post a social coach script every Monday. Okay, that's a content series right there. Like you figured out the category that your content fits in. That's great. And then lastly, again, I'm sorry, I know I've gone way over. I will stay on to do Q&A, but if you found the bootcamp helpful, we would super appreciate hearing your feedback. I just love to hear what you guys found helpful, what your takeaways were, if this helped you feel more confident, just anything there so that I can continue to help create things that iterate on bootcamp, more resources, more assets, just anything there. And then, of course, if you did find this helpful and you're a fan of Social Coach, we also would really appreciate a review. I know that that's not always something we think about, right? It's kind of like with you guys and your clients, you're always like, hey, it really, really helps
Gotta ask.
to hear about your experiences. So if you're not using Social Coach, don't worry about it. But if you start using it and you end up loving it, you can scan this QR code right here, the support us with a review, and we would really appreciate any feedback there. And of course, the feedback form is, it shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes, I promise. But it's just to help me, and again, to see, is this helpful? What about this is helpful? Where can we improve? So if there's any areas that you're like, oh, I wish we covered more, let me know. Happy to help you out there. And then as a reminder, Camilla is your go-to gal for all things Social Coach. So the live demo tomorrow, that's super exciting. I can't wait to hear how that goes. So if you have
Yeah.
questions about how Social Coach works, how APM is helping support you in using that with like ready to go content, definitely make sure you're going to that live demo and she'll be helping you out there. Okay, I will answer questions. Oh, and my last reminder is I will send up a follow-up email with the recording and all the assets from today. So if you're still not getting those, just reach out to Camilla. Something's going on with the
Yep.
emails. And I will make sure to link in that email the link to our social media State of the Union. So what that is every month I pull together the most recent social media updates that matter because there's a lot of updates, right? A lot of the little features that get changed, but I try to pull together the ones that like, here's what this is and why you should pay attention and if it impacts your strategy or not. And then what I also do is I've been pulling together a couple trending videos and I break down kind of why it's a trend and how you guys can turn it into trends for your own content. Because I know it's sometimes hard where you're like, I see that this is trending, but how do I make it real estate or mortgage related? That's confusing. So I take those content types and I break it down. So if you want to listen to any of the former ones, those are all up on our YouTube channel. We can grab that link for you. But yeah, just wanted to plug that in there. That'll be in the email as well. Okay, so yeah, if I missed your question, feel free to drop it in the chat. I will be scrolling back, but thank you, Jamil. I see you have surfaced.
Yeah. I
How do
said
you
email
decide?
me.
Yes. Oh yeah, email Camilla, email me, whatever you need. But
Mm-hmm.
how do you decide if something is post worthy versus only story worthy? That's a great question. Honestly, I think it's up to you. The big thing I would say is relevance. So if it's something that is only going to be true for a limited amount of time, maybe it's better to put on stories. So like if it's a news update, right? Something breaking, something like that. If it's really hyper relevant to the time that it is right now, because it's only going to be there for 24 hours. Like if you have a class that you're hosting next week, maybe post that on your story because then people see it, but then it's not living on your feed permanently once that's passed. Now, if you wanted to say, okay, I do something every month, right? Like our social media state of the union, we do this every month. I would put a post about that so that people see, oh, okay, I missed the last one, but this is something that happens every month. Now, if I'm scrolling through your profile, I know I'm going to tune in time for next month's because it's a recurring thing. So if you have like a homeowner, like a first time home buyer seminar or something, that would be a great one. Yeah, Wendy, like lock now updates, put those on your stories because I promise you someone is following you who does not know. There are so many people out there who follow people for all different reasons, but if you become the person that they're like, "Oh, I know my gal Wendy is going to post a lock now update every single time." And I know you guys use stuff like MBS where they let you know, right? Like they send you a lock alert, you got to tell your people. And I'm sure you are in emails and whatever. Put that on your story. And then put it, or you could put it in a reel. The one thing I'll say is the reels will get like pushed out. But the problem is, right, people might get angry if they see it 3 days later and they're like, oh, lock now, I want to lock now. And they're commenting, and you're like, sorry, ship has sailed. That's where I'm like, it might be better to do in a story format so that you're not dealing with the repercussions of people then being like, oh, this isn't accurate. You're like, well, it wasn't when I posted it, but now it is, right? So that's where I would differentiate. I also think that if you're shy about the personal content, that's a great place to experiment in your stories. So if you're kind of like, oh, like if you're getting a smoothie, that doesn't need to live on your post feed, right? It's like whatever. But could you turn that into an engagement poll on your story? Could you say, hey, what flavor smoothie do you get? This is my Friday treat to myself after a long week of client calls. Okay, now I'm
Hmm.
learning something about you. You got yourself a treat. I want to know what flavor it is, and yeah, I'm going to tell you my order because like that's fun. Because Jamil, we've interacted so much over this, and I care about you, and I want to know what your Jamba Juice order is, right? So that's how
Yeah.
this works. So anything more personal, I would put in your stories. I also think if you're posting videos and posts that you want people to see, reshare those to your stories. It's another one I think that not everyone knows about is you hit the share button and you post it to your story. And what that does is if people aren't necessarily seeing you in their feed, but you pop up at the top of the stories and then they're watching through a bunch of people's stories, they're more likely to see it. And then they might be like, oh, okay, like Jim'll posted a video. I didn't see that. Let me click in and watch the whole thing. So there you go. Wendy, my weekend treat to myself is to sleep. How do I make that relevant? I think that's hilarious. Could you put a meme? Could you post like, I don't know, could you post a photo, funny photo, or could you it's hard to come up with this on the spot, but instantly I'm like, I don't know, some sort of photo with you like a sleep mask and like at your desk like this and being like, thank goodness it's Friday or like me on Mondays or I don't know, like something that everyone finds relevant, right? We all have those moments. And so if you can turn it into something that just makes people be like, oh my gosh, girl, same, whether it's your clients or your peers and colleagues, that's going to do well. And with the dog, yes, exactly. Oh, yeah, dogs, yes. And I'm going to tell you, like I've said it before and I'll say it again kids, not that you should exploit them. Kids and dogs or kids and pets always perform really well. People really like animals. They like to
Oh,
see.
everybody loves a fur baby.
So I just see people, they're like, oh, my best videos are just me and my dogs. I just post my dogs like once a week and those get the most engagement. Yep, makes sense. So to me, that's not surprising, but then that's a great way to kind of like get creative with it. If you're like, oh, maybe I could do a voiceover as if my dog is giving mortgage advice. Oh my gosh, I would watch that. I'm like, I'm a genius. I just came up with that and I'm like, wow. But see, yes, Wendy, I bet your dog does look fabulous in a sleep mask. But yeah, so like getting creative and just fun with your content. I think we get hung up on this, oh, I need to be so polished and professional all the time. And if that's what matters to you, absolutely make that your brand, stick to it. But I think what more people care about is, okay, if you're decently knowledgeable and you're willing to help me, I just need you to be someone I want to work with and I want to feel like I can trust you and I can reach out to you. And you guys are already really good at that. It's just a matter of putting that out in a way that's more visible. So, when you're being relatable on client calls and you're being professional, but you're also like, "Oh, girl, give me 1 second. My kid is unloading the dishwasher and it's the loudest thing ever right now." And they go, "Oh my gosh, same." Haha. Right? Like those moments, I'm recording a video and my husband decides to start up the lawnmower. Like, great, whatever it is. Like you can put those in your content on your stories and people will find that relevant. Savannah, so sorry if you answered this. I missed it. If I have a 15-second video and people watch the whole thing versus watching 15 seconds of a 1 minute video, which is better for analytics? So my guess would be I would predict that the 15-second video would get more views. And I think that's because A, it's shorter, so it would continue to get more and more views and it would get pushed out more. But I would say that the 1 minute video would do pretty well. 15 seconds is a good watch time for the 1 minute video. Analytics wise, the full completion is going to do better. But what I'll tell you too is coming up with different lengths of content with different purposes. I would really recommend experimenting with that. So saying, okay, if I do a 15-second clip of me typing at my desk and I have some information on the screen, then I'm going to follow up with a talking head 1 minute video that's more in depth on that topic. And so what that would do, right, is if the 15-second one gets a lot more views and attention, it's saying, oh, okay, I'm drawing people into your profile. But then the
Yeah.
follow-up video goes more in depth. So now if people came to your profile because they're like, oh, I really liked, Savannah was talking about down payment assistance. Now I'm really curious. And now I come to your profile and you then have like a couple videos that are more in depth that are like, here's down payment assistance programs in California, in Kansas, in New Mexico, I don't know, whatever it is. And then I go, oh, okay, I'm going to click into all these different videos. And that's kind of how you use the mix. So the videos that get the most views aren't always going to get the most like conversion, right? That's what we've also seen people say is they're like, sometimes my lowest performing views are the highest converting. But sometimes that's because they're really niche and they find the right audience, or when the right audience finds that video, they're instantly like, yeah, I got to DM Savannah about this. I need to know. Like this really addresses a problem that I didn't think anyone else knew how to help me with. So that's where we say having that mix of like, think about the things you want to help your clients with, and then coming up with a mix of different lengths, styles, videos, categories, all of that. It's going to be really helpful. And then that's where you experiment, right? And you see what does well. And if you go, oh, this video gets views every time, like this type of video always gets higher views, but then I get no engagement, no one converts. Okay, frustrating. Now I'm going to try to do some in-depth videos. And yeah, those don't do as well. But I noticed that people come to my profile and follow me from these videos, but then these are the ones that convert them and get them talking and get them messaging me. So that's kind of how you want to pair those together. Tanya, what would be, yeah, so a mix would be good. Hopefully that's helpful, Savannah. Thank you. Oh, no problem. Tanya, what would be a good walking, talking Wednesday tip? Or, yeah, so okay, sorry, I need to finish reading this. What could I combine walking in a video each week? Two goals I need are to hit my steps and to post videos. I think that that's kind of all you need to say. Like sometimes you could just be like, hey, my goal is to hit 10,000 steps every week, and I also want to help home buyers make smarter choices. Here's, I'm going to give you my step count at the end of this, and I'm going to give you a tip. That's how you can start, and then you can see how to make that more engaging for people. But I think that's all you need. Walking is also great on video because it's subtle movement. So visually, that's going to be a lot more engaging for people to pay attention to. The biggest thing I think I would make sure to make that video compelling is give people that reason to stick around to the end. Give them that result or that tease, or like, don't just start being like, oh, I'm walking and like, let me share a tip today. If you do that, it's a little too generic. It's like, I don't know if I want to stick around. But if you're like, come with me, I want to hit 10K steps and I'm going to tell you how to save 10K on your mortgage. Oh,
Ooh.
suddenly I'm invested, right? Suddenly now I'm like, oh, okay. So you can turn it into a series. And then I think as people get more invested in you and the walking, right? They might care and be like, did you hit your step count today? How's it going? But then you want to give them in the video like what the tip is going to help them achieve so that they then want to endure the walking with you to get the tip at the end. Hopefully that makes sense and helps. But that's what we mean with these hooks in the framework. The hook is kind of setting that like, here's why you should watch and why you want to stick around to the end. And then hopefully that's going to help your completion time because now you're telling people, here's the payoff. Here's why you're watching this. If you just start with like, here are 3 mortgage tips. Okay, maybe I want the tips, but like, what am I getting out of it? Versus here's 3 tips that will help you blank. Here's 3 whatever that will solve this problem for you. Now I'm like, ooh, now I want to see how to do that. Even if I don't need this problem solved, I want to know how you do it and what your tips are. So I'm going to stick around to the end. So that's kind of where that results-based book comes in. We talked a lot about that. Hopefully that helps. And Tanya, if you start that walking series, drop the handle in the chat because we'd all love to cheer you on with your steps and see how you do with that. That'd be great. Okay, I'm gonna keep looking. If I've missed any questions, let me know. Feel free to drop them again. I think we talked about content series. If anyone is still confused about those, just let me know. Um, Yep, yep. Ums in videos, totally understand that. You can use CapCut or other video editors to clean those out. I completely agree. If you want people to do it for you, that's what we're here for with Social Coach. But the one thing I'll let you guys know, this is going to be in our social media State of the Union next week. So quick like preview, I guess, sneak peek. So CapCut has updated their terms and conditions, and I posted a video about this, but I just want to make sure everyone's aware. Their terms and conditions basically now mean that they're allowed to do what they want with your content. They can give it to other people, they can put them in ads. I don't know if they're going to really do that with content without permission, but they can, is the thing, right? They put it in their terms and conditions so that they can take your content and do what they want with it. So if that's something that sketches you out, just so you know, I just like people to be aware. Again, I don't think they're going to be taking people's content and randomly putting in ads, but you never know these days. Who knows? So just if that makes you nervous, just want to give people a heads up. It's been in their terms and conditions for a while, but it means that anything you upload to their platform, they technically have permission to use however they want. And deleting your account doesn't like rescind that permission. It just means that like anything you have already uploaded, they technically can use, but like nothing else going forward. So just as a heads up there. Oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna follow you, Tanya. Thank you for sharing that. And
Yeah.
I think there was a question about where you can find me. So all my videos get shared to Social Coach. So if you guys want to follow Social Coach on all of our platforms, I can grab that link for you guys.
I
Um,
actually dropped them earlier while you were talking when they said that. I shared
oh,
Social Coach and your Instagram and your, is it the create Social Coach Creator Hub too?
yes.
Yeah,
So
I
we
shared all those.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you, Camilla. Yeah, so
Yeah, of
here I
course.
have a link where they're all in here at once in case you missed those. It's our little link tree with all of them. But thank you for doing that, Camilla, because it's hard
Hmm.
to do it all at the same time.
Yeah.
But yes, we do have a Facebook group if you want to join that is just all like boot camp people. So I just like to have it as a forum for if after boot camp you have questions or you want feedback on a video and you feel weird about where to do that, you can just post it in the Facebook group. And then my favorite thing is it's a great place to find engagement buddies. You can ask questions there. You can see what other people are asking. And then if you ever have like script ideas that you want or anything more, that's a great place to put it, and I will see it and we can take it and run. So I
Great.
think I think that's all I have for you guys today. If we have more questions, if I missed anyone's question, you can reach me at marketing@socialcoach.io, not .com, by the way. So if anyone's been emailing me and it's bouncing, that's why. There's the email there in the chat. But thank you all for your participation, for being here, for engaging. Would love to hear your feedback. If anyone's willing to give us a review as a thank you, that is always just so, so appreciated. But this has been really, really fun. I've so much enjoyed getting to help you all. I hope this has helped boost your confidence. And yeah, for anyone who's joining Social Coach, you're welcome to come through Bootcamp again. But we're definitely here to help, and we're really excited to see all the content you guys are creating. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you, Ashley. This has been a spectacular series. I've heard nothing but good things. I'm hearing when is more, we want more.
Oh,
And they can catch you on State of the Union, right? There's a Google link for that. Um, and Social Coach really is a resource of knowledge. They really are. You guys are the best.
thank you.
Okay, I'll see people tomorrow on the live call. If you have any questions, you can email me, camilla.nuvian at AP Marketing. I'm one of the only Camillas at the company. So, oh,
Oh,
sorry, AP Mortgage, not AP Marketing. Oops.
oh, no,
Um, so
yes.
close. So I look forward to talking to you guys. Thank you so much today.
Thank you, everyone. Great
And
job.
you'll send a recap. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, send the recap. I'll send the homework. We'll have all of that. If you don't get it, reach out to Camilla. And otherwise, I will see you guys on socials. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye, everyone.